You want me to put your mic dead audience so the whole of Scott can hear the car. It sounds very important. Yes, please, and the rest of the persons in the meeting. Whenever time you're going in a meeting, quite likely turn your phone off. If you think you have a very important call you might get, when you hear the first ring, bend your head, walk out of the meeting. Yeah, man, and step aside and handle your business. Yeah, but don't ever fool with the meeting.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. So, where were we? Right. All right. It happens every time. I'm kind of like lost right now.
The importance of what we have created.
Interesting.
Scott committee.
You see that? So just what happens, the head table alone I talking to, we need to put a screen on the side, just turn on and say, so you hear what we said, right? The point is, we have done a very good job in terms of creating the IDs, the final touch to the IDs. And maybe you have been seeing a change in the background. This one is a Maroon Times, and that will be covering the printed information on the internet. This one is the new flag of Jamaica, because there is no Jamaica. And this is what the ID looks like. This is Mr. Lewis' ID right here, and that is mine. This is their chief right here. I'm not a technical person who have assisted us. And this lady has been very vibrant around the place. That's Nana. And this little girl. Right. This is the back of the ID. Which technical man, Mr. Please. Please the back of the ID, because that is where we need to really show persons that the ID makes a lot of sense. Well, this is the quarter form. We really have to slow it down so we can look at that. But all this graphic was basically done in one night. The truth is, not really. It took 27 years of information, but the graphics was finished in one night. Right. The back of the ID, it carries, this is what the new quarter form looks like. Up top. It carries a man blowing a bend with the map of Jamaica. With the map of Jamaica. And the map of Jamaica carries great. It goes down now. Good. This is the map of Jamaica. One person will say that Maroon community is over here in the corner of Jamaica over there. No. All of the Maroon land is what is called Jamaica. And so that's the map. And basically the year 1738 is expressed on both sides. Now, the word Nyankapong is the same thing most of Leslie in the community would say, Yankee Pong. So, it's nothing new. It's just the first time you're seeing it visually, and it might look a certain way, but this is exactly Yankee Pong spelled with a N-Y, so that the N before is not pronounced by the older Maroons. They say Yankee Pong. So the N is what? Well, I heard somebody say the N is silent.
Silent.
Right. Right. But it's not really silent, you know. It's English people who have no sentence and have education. So it's silent. You know why? No. The N is in the nose. So if you don't say N, no mean you don't pronounce it. When you say yin, right. So the N is called a nasal, because it does not pronounce in the mouth or the throat, but it's pronounced in the nostril. And that's one of the most interesting things about the French language. A lot of the French words is in the nion and mession. See? So the word is Yankee. But British people who just learn it can say Nayankopong. So because of that, the first Rastafarian community were known as the Nayaman. Where it comes from, yeah? Naya. Home represents God. In Chinese language, it represents bread. Across the globe in Africa, it still goes back to mean the breast that feeds the mother, that means the child, or bread that you eat, means not just the breast. Why the breast was used? Because anything tongue means is the same thing that sustains you. See? Like the mother, the sustainer. God is the sustainer, right? So the highest level of sustainer is you leave the mother, you leave the disk, the prime minister, you sustainer, but God is the highest. So Yankee Pong. And it says sovereign republic state. A lot of persons don't know why you use the word republic. But when a country is suppressed for a while, like the Maroons, and you're going to become a new government, you're going to move to republic. Why? Because America is a republic state. That means it's fully developed and fully advanced. So the Jamaica must also become a republic one day or another. And we are simply saying only the Maroons have the right to declare Jamaica as a republic. They did it the other day in Tivoli Garden when they called Dada president, but that was totally illegal. Now, we actually established a republic state because once the colonial government is not in operation, the question is the Maroon government will be in operation. Now, persons would say it's going to take the Maroons a lot of years to become republic. Why? Because all these years, Jamaica was dreaming to become a republic. So what is fascinating is that the first morning of the Maroon government, he will be introducing to you a republic state. So it means that the Maroons who was at the back now is at the front. It means that the last now not shall be, but he is now the first. And so that America is a republic state. Now, a country like Colombia just became a republic state after, long after America. But things doesn't stop change. Things keep changing. And it means that a few years ago it was South American country, but today is Jamaica. Jamaica is now a republic, but it's not a Jamaica republic. It is a Maroon sovereign state republic. And what makes it a republic is because of the treaty. 11,900 treaties were revisited at United Nations, and 70 of them was found worthy to be called a new state. And the Maroon was one of them. So the government don't want to tell you this, and this is why Minister of Culture, Babsy Grange, we play along with the Maroons trying to take away their power to bring it back to Parliament. But they did remember one thing. People, you hear what they say? How the Maroons going to get into Parliament? They want to make the Maroon run in an election. No, you're crazy. You don't realize that there is one seat in Parliament never been used by anyone. And call anybody that you respect as an intelligent person tonight. You're a lawyer. Try excuse on the Saturday evening and say you have one question to ask you. Is it the fact that there is one seat in Parliament that no one never sit on? And yes, why? Because the Maroon own all of Jamaica, and when they leased the country to England, that all the seats in Parliament could not be used because fundamentally one of the seats must be left vacant, and that seat is empty until this blessed day. What is it for? It is waiting for when the Maroon become a government that he can sit into Parliament. So we are so powerful that we have a seat in Parliament waiting for 300 years, and no one has never sat on that seat. So maybe that's why somebody with so much intelligence like me spend the time to be walking around in Scotland like a madman since the other day, because it is important that somebody with better intelligence come again and reassure you of who you really are and your power, especially in a time when people in the world is searching for power. You're there, so basically, like I would have said, with dirt in your foot and peer power, and you don't realize. Why do white people coming out here talk about tourism? And Lord, no one going to tourism. You're a mad person. The reality is that a digism are going because them come in a dig and you are call them tourists. Them come in and dig out your place and you are call them tourists. When a soldier take off his soldier clothes and take off his gun and put on a short pants made by trapeze or Ocean Pacific and a dark glasses and a camera over his shoulder, them look like soldier again. And one word you call them, you know, tourist. My tourist, man. So you never think about it. So basically, the confrontation against the community is not against, like I told Mr. Pink the first time when I came. I said, Mr. Pink, the situation is very rough, but no one in Scotland hate you. No one in Scotland really wants to kill you, nothing like that. And don't tell me that. But I can assure you, Mr. Pink, that every Maroon community is under attack. And if a bird sit down on the seat, a fire. And if it's a hog sit down on the seat, operation go under. No matter who. And that is the time when the particular chiefs in all these communities need outside forces to come in. And not just any outside force, but people with the capacity who understands Maroon diplomacy and understand the laws that only protect Maroon, but protect the rest of the 4 indigenous peoples group. Last week meeting, I emphasized that somebody, a young man, fell in love with a girl. And the girl said, me I go and revival church and me can't talk to you, or me can't mix up Maroon and revival together. Again, correct yourself, correct your friends, correct your brothers, your sisters. The reality is that revival was brought to Jamaica by the Maroons. So the woman made a sad mistake. And I wonder if the revival church is here and around anywhere else is prepared to accept the fact that they were brought here by the Maroons. So the other day when I brought Kumina from Sentiment, somebody said, where am I go with the Kumina? But no, man. I'm Maroon control Kumina. Kumina no control Maroon. And Maroon tell Kumina and Revival what to do. And by extension, United Nations tell us that we have a new stepson. And we must take your right. You know who that is? The Rastafarian movement. Because there are 4 indigenous people groups. And everybody turned fool and know how Rasta get into it. Why then they were confused? Because the story they were told didn't link Rasta to the Maroons. And so Rasta make him oneself and run up into the bush. That was a lie. So while we were here telling each other that United Nations says that it is 4 hours now. So we are look round. So we asked United Nations who? He said the Rastafarians. We said why? He said, don't you know that the Rastafarians were made in the mountains of Portland by the Portland Moortown Maroons? The man said, because of that, the Rastafarian community only have 60 years on paper. To be indigenous in this court, you need 350 years. So with the Rastafarian community, is going to get the rest of the years. But because his father is the Maroon, so therefore the expression used by law, the Rastafarians are a sub-generation of the Maroons by international standards. What the word sub means? Submarine, so you have a next one and then you have a next one. You're a son of be a sub, so to speak. If you're gone in the way and him don't have to talk. Good. So if Jamaica was to share up tomorrow morning and Kumina dead out and Revival dead out and Maroon dead out, then you can't bypass Rasta. You have to give the country. You have to kill out into the loop for you to do everything. So the truth is that Andrea Williams, who is somebody who people think that was so very intelligent and worked on a radio station, have made one of the grandest mistakes when she too thought that Kumina was separate from Revival and thought that. And when she discovered, she was so shocked, she used one word, cultural diversity. If I was to use one word to finish this part of the discussion, I would say, we are all one person and did not really understand. And it takes white people outside to better inform us that we are one person, one group, one people. So for that reason, then we shouldn't delay, but to unite together and work. And again, since I've been here with these meetings, I've had very good turnout. I think this evening is a pretty good turnout based on what is happening. Mr. Lewis said to me the other day, well, but the people are coming, the people are coming. I said, no, what happened is that you went to the first meeting, but after they threatened the people about the so therefore what we have to be smart enough to call the meeting in the morning, pick up our new floor, and get our business done. I'm wondering if this thing was closer, but the main thing we need to do again, sorry for diversion for a minute, but to look specifically what is written on the back of the ID. So this is what puts value to the ID. It says, the bearer of this indigenous people Maroon ID is not subjected to no British colonial government agent, but subjected only to the Maroon state law. And the next line here is the United Nations law that tells the Maroon that they have the right. So it's backed up by the United Nations, and it comes. And the interesting thing, why is it in blue? Because if you take out your Google and you put UNILO 169, you will get a 17-page document, which by law, it is your new constitution when Parliament dissolves. So this evening, you can just use this initial right here to access your new constitution. Why is it important? Because the university is telling their crazy students that the Maroons need to write a constitution. But that's a lie. And they told the Maroons that it will take them 50 years to write a constitution. And the last thing they go, and laugh at us. But with better intelligence, your constitution was written by the United Nations. Please take out your phone and make it possible. UNILO 169, and you will realize a document that you have access to that is bigger than your land title. So any person who had gone to get a land title again looks so very stupid, because when you look at clause Article 7 covers the land rights, and instead of land title, there's an expression called traditional ownership. Let's talk briefly about traditional ownership. Now, I am a Rastafarian by appearance, but truly I'm an Ashanti man, so to speak. Now, I'm going to use a very poor example, but it's a very good example. You ever notice when you go to Maroon community here, say Trevor and they're both in Ghana, hog hunting, Ghana hunter, wild hog. You ever heard that before? Anybody in the meeting ever heard that? No man, I want to see how much persons have ever heard that. You ever heard that somebody gone on wild hog hunting? You have heard it? Right. Now, as a man who appears like me, most persons say, I don't want to talk about no hog man, fireborn. Interesting. I decide to open my mind. And listen to this hog story and realize that one of the ways to take away my land and to maintain my land from British colonial government was to go hog hunting. And I never know why. When you look...
Yes, Capsal, once and for all. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we have to talk loud because we're proud of the excited one, you understand? So, first of all, I want to give a warm round of applause for Chief Ping! Maybe I say Chief Ping! We don't hear him, I don't have Maroon this for Chief Ping! Well, me and Nanny told the people, Lord, I'm here to Scott Sal and the bad Maroon them. So me say Chief Ping! Yeah, we just so know, load it up. And the vibes. We have to make people know so we're there. Silent mean you count for nothing. What silent mean? Alright, and that means we count for because when the silent people walk past, so no. You what Paramount G said? In just walk silent, so and they look at dirty boy go do a bump up in the chief. And the chief have to start giving him a round of words. And when he finally say the chief round they have bucket behind it. Why am I for you? Back up! Why am I for you?
Back up.
Yeah, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, silent do mean consent, but it also mean you're nothing. In the 40th laws of Paul. You understand? Because when they each up in a corner, so nobody not see us, so them not pay no mind. And that's what all of the others that chief them have been doing Scots Hall. Or wrong, I'm right.
Right.
Them silent, so people believe Scots Hall never even exist. I'm looking for different village all over the years who mean something and who one of the chief must not sell out. Or the government, the British government, them, or the politician, them now buy out the chief. But fly past us for a long time. But we are about chiefing, we know the Scots Hall exists. And I come down here, I'm going to some Jamaican part of language too. When I come down here, and when I came down here, I discovered chiefing, and I discovered the paramount chief. And part of the explicitity, I know chief said me not to do the explicitity, but it's African language. I say, boom, boom, clot. How what is doing this, man? I never know a village so pretty down here. Because actually, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have 2 storage buildings down here. You have pavement down here, so you, Scots Solitarian, is more modern than one of the others of Maroon village. Moran, I'm right. And there's no lie because I've been all of them. And when chief, the paramount chief, I tell about the man who sell the ID for $60,000, that was me and my others colleagues. Because when we look at it, no Maroon now use the ID. We went in and just created the ID on the side. But the paramount chief, we don't have the ID already. So we create a one on the side and say, hey, some look white people want it, and some people uptown want it, and some big multi-year business people want it. So what? We just sell them it. And although it was the secondary one, it still works. What am I saying? Still the Scots Hall? Come next time and attack the people about. Roll them back there, so what the ID them still do? Work. So no, me look at me and say no. If Scots Hall have an ID when we out the road, they sell for $60,000. And when me come in a Scots Hall, I think one Scots Hall here and have it. Me say wait there. Come like the chief over there and over there work. When we get to find out, we say I want name Ray and Tate, because we didn't know a nanny town. So come we come enough to come say we're gonna say who now and sell out Scots Hall thing. When we look here same name Ray Tate, we don't know the name already. And him a link with politicians, and we are say 25 million run for fixed road. When we come in and say, what Scots Hall road pretty? And we find out say, not even Scots Hall, the whole Maroon area, the road are long from out and beginning come down to the end. Right. We have to find out say, when we look we say some white man we skid for the come down and one bag of dust and those other people. Me say, what kind of road is? They will come and look later and see a little piece of thick bill in the middle. Right. When we look now, if I never chief who wouldn't know nothing about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, give another round of applause for Chief Pig, please and thanks. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to develop, matter of fact, before we got development again. The 5G pole up mess up, it just killed a gentleman down a place named Walton Park Road in Kingston, Jamaica. The gentleman was 62-year-old. That's why Andrew Olin still said, as of next 2 weeks, everybody who are 60 or over have to stay at them house and can't come on the road. That's so like digital imprisonment. When we say digital imprisonment, let me say it's a prison that is not in a prison, but it's a prison. Because if I tell you over the television, say I lock you up from the television, and the television is what? Digital. So it's digital imprisonment out where we come from. So, ladies and gentlemen, what may I say now? Like the gentleman, what's his name again? In the white shirt, yeah. Me? Yeah. Hunter. So Hunter there, so now, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, officer, good night. So Hunter there, so ladies and gentlemen, is going to be, what you call now, by the 5G system, killed. Yes, because the 5G system now, ladies and gentlemen, is a system that the digital part will kill the people in. You understand? So the digital part now, ladies and gentlemen, once the 5G them turn up, if you notice, the place get more hotter from what here. You don't notice it? Because they have turned it on the 5G system. You understand? Underneath the United Nations, no Prime Minister supposed to turn up or put a 5G system in a Maroon state. Unless him get permission from Chief Pink or the Paramount Chief. I'm going to give the police officers them a nice round of applause, please. Yeah. Yeah, man, because our officer them too, you know. So after a while now, the whole of them have to have Maroon ID too. You understand? Because at the end of the day, the white people train them to defend the others for them. So instead of when the white people used to come and we used to kill them off, them saying we want people in a police force now. So when we lock off the road now, we start kill off one of police them, which end up to be one a brother, or one a sister. But we more smarter than that now. So we're educating the police officers them now, and all of the others are outside soldiers them. Because if you notice what them do now, they put up the 5G pole in front of every police station. So when they put the 5G pole in front of the police station them now, and the army camps, it kill the police and the soldier them first. Then them send the police them and say they're fighting corona. And look how my officers them come now without a corona suit. My officer, don't them say corona we fight, don't it? Some of them send out my police without corona suit. Them is a dead boy, you dead off. So I went down to the police station headquarters and talked to the commissioner the other day. You understand? And the commissioner said, boy, Mr. Lewis, you know, sir, 2 years talk about what going on now. We don't know what to do about it, and the government. So I tell my police, I say, when them tell them to go to the road at night time, only just down the yard and come out of the 5G. Now when them do, they turn up the 5G every night. So when they turn up the 5G, the only somebody out there in it is a police officer them. So, and I have witness of it. This is not the first them doing it. In 1652, they launched the first satellite them. And when the satellite them launch, radiation always kill people. But we the black people them now, we have a thing in our skin named melanin. What name? Melanin. So you see the police them. So they will last a little longer, you know, but what them do now, them turn it up from 2000 and another. So you see the turn when them turn it up now, it never kill the black people them. So when them launch a new 5G system in England, Spain, Italy, it'll kill off the white people them alone now. So what them do now, them come back at Jamaica now, come check Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who's not really a Prime Minister. But because you people now don't know the law, and don't know the Constitutional Act, and don't know the United Nations, who they run up and down now. So the police them come here and them good down here. So when the police them come,
Step forward.
it's our people now.
Move up my property.
I saw their bag then.
Move up my property. Walk up and talk around. Nothing here. I don't want you nothing here. Step up. The fuck wrong with you? But I told you, you come back and let us know we can talk. Don't use that television that fucking story. Don't tell me today. Get up my property. Get up the property. Yeah, man. And we can't change it too. You want me to change it? I'm sure so we can't change it?
No, don't.
No, you want me to do that? No. Fuck wrong with you?
Come on, come out, Tom. Police come
You fucking lucky you come out alive. Move it up, man. You fucking asshole. Move it up. You want to feel out, man. Move it up, man. Move it the fuck up. Come out of here. Come on.
Come on, Tom.
They don't know the rights, so that's what happening. They don't know the rights. You need to collect your forms here, those who they need to collect your forms, those who are interested.
Yes, sir. Hello. So this is where I think how much of them are
Step forward.